Hello, and welcome back to Federal Flash, the Alliance for Excellent Education's video series on important developments in education policy in Washington, D.C. in 5 minutes or less. I'm Philip Lovell, and I'm joined by Nikki McKinney. On Monday, the U.S. Department of Education released a new template for the submission of consolidated state plans under the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. Some of the specific items in the previous version were retained, while others were deleted and some are reworded, and the new template adds a few new items. Nikki, tell us more about how states should proceed in submitting their plans and what this means moving forward.
Thanks, Philip. The current administration has retained the two deadlines for submission of state plans established by the Obama administration, April 3rd and September 18th. The department outlined several options available to states for the submission of their plans, which is particularly critical to the states planning to submit by April 3rd. A state has three options. 1. Submit a consolidated state plan using the new template. 2. Submit a consolidated state plan using an alternative template that is developed by the state in partnership with the Council of Chief State School Officers. Or 3. Submit plans for individual programs that address the statutory requirements. The law requires states to consult with a variety of stakeholders during the development and prior to a plan submission. However, the revised template virtually ignores these statutory provisions. The National Governors Association and others have expressed concerns over the revised template's silence on the issue. NGA issued a statement that reads in part, quote, "Governors are concerned that the department's revised template fails to prioritize proper stakeholder engagement, even though it is a core requirement within the law. We will not waver as a result of this development," end quote. Of particular note is that under a new provision added by ESSA, a state must engage in timely and meaningful consultation with the governor and must give the governor 30 days to review and sign off on the plan before submitting it to the department. The materials acknowledge, however, that in states aiming to submit by April 3rd, the governor will not have the time to review the plan because the revised template was just released. Therefore, the state must submit the plan at the conclusion of the 30-day review period, but no later than May 3rd, and will be considered to have met the deadline.
Thanks, Nikki. Yesterday, the administration released its budget blueprint for fiscal year 2018. The 1.5 pages of text dedicated to the Education Department provides information, albeit limited, about the priorities of the Trump administration. Overall, the budget proposes to decrease the Department of Education's funding by $9.2 billion, from $68.2 billion to $59 billion. This is a 13.5% decrease in funding. Here are some highlights. $1.4 billion would be added for spending on public and private school choice initiatives. This would include $168 million more for charter schools, a $250 million for a new private school choice program, and a $1 billion increase for Title I dedicated to encouraging districts to implement school choice. IDEA, supporting students with special education needs, would be funded at current levels of approximately $13 billion. The budget proposes to eliminate or reduce funding for 20 programs, including the elimination of funding for professional development under Title II, Part A of ESEA, the 21st Century Community Learning Centers program supporting after-school programs, and literacy programs under Striving Readers. No mention was made of the new Student Support and Academic Enrichment Grant program under Title IV of ESSA, which was intended to support a well-rounded education, wraparound services, and digital learning. A more detailed budget proposal is expected later in May. It's important to remember, though, that this is a proposed budget from the President. Over the course of the next several months, Congress will ultimately decide which programs get funded and at what amounts. Therefore, it's very important to weigh in with your members of Congress to voice your views on the President's proposal.
Next Wednesday, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos will testify before the House Appropriations Education Subcommittee about the department's funding. This will be the first time DeVos has testified on Capitol Hill since her confirmation hearing in January. In light of the president's budget blueprint, she'll likely face questions about the proposed cuts to education programs and funding for school choice. For an email alert when our next episode of Federal Flash is available, email us at alliance@allfored.org. Thanks for watching.